Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video we're going to be having fun. We're going to be pseudo introducing a new card game to the channel, probably pretty full time. It's going to be consistent content on this game, Grand Archive trading card game. We're going to be talking about it today, and I'm going to be having fun with it, talking about why I enjoy the game, why I think you should enjoy the game, kind of introduce myself also to the Grand Archive community, and kind of go from there and just have some fun with it, have a good general discussion to open up this card game on the channel. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. Feel free to check out the Discord down below, channel membership, all that good stuff. We'll get right into it. So I wanted to make like an introductory video of why I have honestly been obsessed with this game the last few weeks, and I wanted to kind of talk about it on two different axes. I wanted to talk to the Flesh and Blood community, which is mainly the game that has grown my channel, obviously, but also kind of want to talk to it from the Grand Archive community. So I want to be able to tell Flesh and Blood players why I think they would enjoy this game, and I also want to talk to the Grand Archive players and be like, why I love your game, and introduce myself and hopefully show you what you can expect from me as hopefully a new creator in your trading card game. So the Grand Archive TCG, as I pull up their website, or like a window to their website here, it's an anime style card game. Anime inspired, right? It's the best way to put it. No specific anime, just the culture in general. And it's a trading card game that has to deal with, you have allies, you have spells, you have all the normal things you would see in a very standard trading card game, but there's a lot of elements of this game that make it so unique and so much fun. And today I just want to kind of talk about it and hopefully, get other people excited about the game as well. The first thing that drew me to this game was obviously the theme. I love anime, I love manga, I love anime culture. So when I first saw this game a couple years back, when it released with Dawn of Ashes, I bought a couple boxes and I really enjoyed it, and I held on to all my cards, thank goodness, because those are really good cards for set one. But I never got into it too much. I played a couple small events like locally, and like that's about it, right? I didn't really make content on it other than I think I made a couple small videos way back when. But regardless, the game the past couple sets has been really like catching my attention with what they've been doing. They've been really growing the game, growing the mechanics, growing the diversity, and it's just been really pulling on me even more to play it. So I've gotten into it the last couple weeks. I've been absolutely addicted. I've been playing Tristan, who's an assassin champion. And so when it comes to talking to the Flesh and Blood community of why I think you should enjoy this game, because this isn't as big with the Grand Archive community, because you already know, there's a bunch of different reasons. The theme is the biggest one. If you love anime, I think you'll love this game. If you're not a big anime fan, this game might be harder for you to get into, which is, here nor there. That's kind of a personal thing. But one of the first things that really brought me into this game from a actual trading card perspective, like a trading card game perspective, like an objective point of view, is the diversity in the decks that you can play, how you can play every individual champion, and just the tightness that they're building this game. So as you can see here, clean design, the first anime trading card game that focuses on card clarity, low stat numbers, and precise rules text. So Grand Archive is really trying to create this tight system in how they create their game, where yes, you have control archetypes, aggro archetypes, you have combo elements, just like every trading card game, but really distinct ones. But they also are trying to keep the game simple in terms of normal attack powers and normal offensive values and normal defense values, very similar to Flesh and Blood. Whereas Flesh and Blood, every card has a defense value, he's a 3-block, a 2-block, whatever, and then attacks for a certain amount. Like in Flesh and Blood, we know a 2-cost card that blocks for 3 and attacks for 6 is on rate, right? And we're able to kind of tell what cards are above rate and below rate based off what we know as Flesh and Blood players is like an on-rate card. Grand Archive's design is very similar to that, where there's certain like standard card levels or card power types. We're able to then depict what's above rate, what's below rate, what below rate cards you're willing to run to have better synergies, things like that. So from a competitive and trading card game perspective, I really enjoyed that because it's something familiar to me as a Flesh and Blood player. The other thing, and I'm going to take this down for a second, is the deck diversity. So I'm not going to get into the rules today. I'm not going to get into all that stuff. I'll link Main Deck's very extensive video on how to play this game. I encourage you to watch it. But basically, the easiest way to explain this, like without going into like a how to play video, is you start with a 60 card deck and you start with a 12 card material deck. And then your material deck for you Flesh and Blood players, it's basically like your equipment and hero. Like imagine if you took all your equipment and your hero and you put it into a separate deck to start the game, and then turn one, like for Katsu, right? Turn one, I would reveal Katsu, and then I'm a Katsu player now, and I can play Ninja and normal cards and generic cards, right? It works the same way. Turn one, you will reveal a Spirit, which, as you can see the 3 on here, a Spirit of Wind, Spirit of Water, or Spirit of Fire, which allows you to draw your opening hand. And then from there, every turn, if you so choose during your materialization phase, you will either level up your spirit into these heroes that you see cycling above me. People like this, like as you can see some of these level 3, like Tristan, Arasana, Jin, each champion, it's called champions in their game, has a level 1 version of it, a level 2 version of it, and a level 3 version of it. And then every level gives you additional abilities. So you're leveling up your champion over the course of the game to become more powerful and stronger and be able to also open up more cards. Because, for example, turn 1, if you reveal that you're Spirit of Water, you now can play water cards and normal cards. But then if I level up into Jin level 1 and level 2, and then eventually get to Jin level 3, as you can see here on the right, I now have access to water cards because I'm still a base water spirit. I have access to normal cards, and I have access to, as you can see in Jin's top right corner, Exia cards. So you're able to like add on the amount of cards you're allowed to play from your deck. So the reason I'm telling you all this is, one, I love the RPG-esque style of it, where you're like leveling up your champion, you're adding equipment similar to like a Diablo or like a, you know, like a top-down. I really enjoy that. But I also enjoy the deck diversity that it allows you to play. So, because you can take a hero, like any of the heroes are cycling above me, like Jin, who just released today in the Mortal Ambition, or even Kong Ming, who just released today in the Mortal Ambition. Their level 3s have certain elements that you unlock, right? But their level 1 and 2 are normal. So what it allows you to do is say, okay, I want to play Jin. Jin is a warrior champion that has to deal with physical damage and uses weapons, right? Just like in Flesh and Blood, where we have Dorinthia, who's a weapon-based hero. The difference in this game, as a game like Flesh and Blood, which adds onto it, is you can play Jin under any of these elements. So I could play a fire Jin deck, which is more aggro and more like, you know, hit them in the face, but it doesn't have as much sustainability or defense, similar to most aggro, you know, red decks in most trading card games. You can play a water Jin, which is more control-esque, where you're trying to stunt them, and maybe you're playing for that level 3 Jin, and you're trying to stunt your opponent, slow your opponent down while you level up your Jin all the way to level 3, and then you use his Exia cards to combo your hero, your opposing hero out. But then you also have Spirit of Wind, which is more like a tempo value-based game, where maybe you're trying to play for the mid game. So as you can see, like, yes, and I am oversimplifying this, but yes, you can do that in other games. I can play Katsu, aggro, or control, but in this game, like, the thematics of the deck change so drastically when you pick your spirit and when you pick your element association, that you really feel like you're almost playing 3 different decks within that champion, if that makes any sense. So that's something that really appealed to me. I love being able to take a champion or take a hero and be able to do that. The other thing that I really enjoyed, other than the archetype, as you can see here, is the equipment and the materialization aspect of it. So in Flesh and Blood, again, I'm talking about Flesh and Blood players here, we have equipment, right? And our equipment is utilized to, you know, help us out, and we start the game really strong, we end the game really weak. The equipment in this game is very similar, except you bring it out like consistently. It doesn't all start in the game at once. You can, in your material deck, you in the middle card here, like Luxem Sight doesn't go in the material deck, but the other 2 do, Prismatic Edge and Shadow's Twin, if it has a blue in the top left. So you can have equipment in your material deck. You can have items in your material deck. You can have different levels of your champion that you want to level into. Like, you might have a material deck with 12 cards that only goes to level 1 of your champion because you're playing a really fast aggro game plan, and you're not trying to, you know, build up into that level 3. You just want to smack your opponent in the face. So maybe you have really good weapons in your material deck, and then you're just trying to get them out as quickly as possible, get that value, and get that engine going. Or you may have items that get you incremental value and card draw that allow you to then buy time to get to that level 3. So you're able to bring your equipment out. And what I love about this is it has that same feeling of Flesh and Blood of, if I want to play Warrior or Ranger, I can get the equipment and the material deck pieces needed for that, and then I can just keep them, right? It's not something where you have to constantly chop and change cards out. Once you get your staples for your deck, it kind of stays that way, which is something that I really, really enjoyed. The last thing I really enjoyed from a mechanics perspective, and we won't talk about a ton here, is the mana system. So in most cards, like as you see in the middle here, Luxem Sight, it costs 0 to play, which is nice, but let's say it costed 2 to play. So what you would do is if you have a 7-card hand and you want to play a 2-cost card, you will put 2 cards from your hand down into your memory, and then so now you're down to what, 4 cards? So what it allows you to do is if you want to play that big spell turn 1, you can. It's just going to use your whole hand, and then you don't have anything on defense, because whatever you keep in your hand when you pass to your opponent, you then can use to play spells and things like that. So it kind of works like Flesh and Blood and Universes a little bit, where you're using leftover cards you haven't used for defense a little bit, and you're able to, basically every card has a use case almost in a way, and that's something that I really, really enjoyed. I won't go too deep into the mechanics because I want to save that for a different video, so if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments down below. The next thing I want to talk about is the dev support. I've been loving the dev support of this game. They do monthly ban restricted announcements. They talk about cards that they're going to ban. They talk about category 3, which is like cards that they will ban. They just did a recent ban announcement. This one was in September, where they banned 4 different cards. Their category 3 will contain cards that are banned and restricted. They have a category 2, which is basically like a high watch thing. It says this category contains cards we consider to be very problematic and are heavily watched for potential future legality changes. And then they have a category 1 that says cards that we don't consider problematic right now in the current environment, but are unhealthy for the future balance of the game and the design space. So it gives you every month they give you like an update of what cards are going to be banned, what cards are close to being banned potentially, and what cards are, they may not be worried right now, but keep an eye on them because they might be in the future. Being able to get that type of, as Flesh and Blood players, we're used to a lot of front-facing discussion with the developers and with Brian Gottlieb and all them. Same thing with this game. But yeah, I really enjoy the ban restricted. I enjoy their organized play system. They have like an ELO system, just like we're used to, where if you go to events, your ELO system raises and stuff like that. As you can see, this is my brand new account. I haven't gone to any big events yet, so hopefully this will change here soon. And they also have good resources. They have Luxor's map where you can go and look at basically every single event that's happened. You can see what's placed well, all that stuff, all the stuff we're used to. And this is their most recent event, the Ascent Singapore, which is basically like a calling equivalent for them. As you can see in the top 8, we had 6 different decks in the top 8, and it's a pretty diverse meta that gives you a lot of room for growth, which I really, really enjoy. So a whole lot of different things. I could keep going on and on. I don't want to make this like a 20 or 30 minute video. It's just, this was more of an introductory video to kind of introduce the game to the channel. I'm going to be making some content on it. I have like a whole freaking booklet here where I'm kind of talking about things I want to do. I want to be able to talk about the elements, like what do they actually mean? What does each element do? What's its strength and weaknesses? I want to show you some of the champions that I enjoy playing and why I enjoy playing them. Talk about the new cards and the new set that just dropped today. Talk about some of, the recap of some events. Some of the stuff you're used to me seeing do. So if you're a Flesh and Blood player, I encourage you, please interact with this. Even if it's not your cup of tea, maybe it's someone else's and they'll enjoy it, and it helps, the game to be seen by more people. If you're a Grand Archive player, first off, thank you for listening to me ramble for the first time for 14 minutes. I didn't say this at the beginning, and I meant to, but my channel, for anyone that's new to the channel, this is the first time you're watching, maybe you're coming from the Grand Archive community, I'm a very, if you can already tell, discussion-based oriented channel. I like to discuss through things, whether it's a deck tech, right? Talking about a deck profile. I'll talk about events and, why I think things place certain ways and why they didn't. Talk about the meta. I'll also just talk about stuff I'll enjoy. Like in this game, I love off meta decks. I love Arasana above me. I love all these like fun decks. I'll talk about like cards I'm enjoying and like archetypes I'm enjoying and how I'm trying to improve upon it. So if you like podcast style content, if you love discussion style content that's not scripted, then I think I'm a good fit for you from a channel perspective. I don't do cuts. I don't do edits or anything like that. And I do that purposefully because I enjoy just kind of talking with you. Like I want this to feel like you're talking to, one of your local friends at your local game store. And you're just talking about the game and you're having fun discussing it. That's kind of the vibe I go for with my content. So if you enjoy that, definitely leave a sub. I would really appreciate it. And kind of go through that. But yeah, thank y'all so much. Hopefully this made somewhat sense. I just want to introduce the game to the channel, have some fun with it. I would love your feedback in the comments down below. If you're a Flesh and Blood player, let me know what you think of the game at first glance. It's definitely a different style. Some people might like it, some people might not, but it has a lot of similarities in terms of what we value as Flesh and Blood players in the Grand Archive scheme. From the Grand Archive community, thank you so much for allowing me to make content on your game. Hopefully you enjoy my future content on the game. I've been making a lot because I've been obsessed with this game recently. So yeah, thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great rest of your day. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If not, it's totally fine. Go to another creator. Go to another Grand Archive creator. I've watched a ton of them lately. Super fun. Leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.